I M29 just found out my fiancé, F28, is helping her sister hide her affair. Should I call off our wedding? Hi, Offbeat Diaries family. I don't even know how to start this without feeling sick. I always thought my fiancé, Emma, was the most honest person I'd ever met. She's empathetic to a fault, sometimes too loyal to the people she cares about, but she's always held herself to this high moral standard that I admire deeply. Her twin sister, Lily? Complete opposite. Fun, charismatic, chaotic, and makes everything 10 times more dramatic than it needs to be. I've always liked her, but I've also always kept a safe emotional distance because her life is just messy. But I never expected Emma to get pulled into the mess, especially not like this. About a week ago, Lily showed up at our place out of nowhere, crying, panicking, rambling about how everything is falling apart. I wasn't home at the time, but Emma was, and apparently she let Lily stay over, talk things out, sleep on the couch. Fine, I didn't think anything of it. The next day, though, I noticed something weird. Emma was deleted texts while I was making breakfast. She never hides her phone from me. Not once in the 4 years we've been together. So I asked gently, "Everything okay?" She flinched, actually flinched. Then she mumbled something about family stuff and asked me to drop it. That's when I knew something was off. I finally got the truth yesterday, and it knocked the air out of my lungs. Emma sat me down and said, "I need to tell you something, but you're going to be really upset." Turns out Lily has been having an affair with some guy from her gym for the past 3 months. Her husband, Dan, one of the nicest men I've ever met, has no clue. That alone made my stomach drop. But then came the real punch. Emma has been covering for her, making excuses, lying to Dan, lying to me, letting Lily use our apartment as an alibi. She confessed because Lily's husband is starting to get suspicious and Emma doesn't want to drag me into something dangerous. Too late. My reaction. I was furious, not just because cheating is disgusting. Dan is genuinely a good guy who's done everything for Lily, but because my fiancée, the woman I'm supposed to build a life with, lied straight to my face for months. I asked her why she would ever take part in something so selfish and destructive. Her answer? She's my sister. I can't just abandon her. She needed me. I said, she needed you to help her betray her husband? She needed you to help her ruin someone else's life? That's not loyalty, that's enabling. She cried. I was too angry to comfort her. I asked the question I was terrified to ask. Would you ever lie for yourself like this? Would you hide something like this if it was your mistake? She didn't answer. Not a yes, not a no. She just stared at the floor and whispered, "I don't know." That shattered something in me. The situation now. I'm currently staying at my brother's place. I needed space before saying something I couldn't take back. My phone has been blowing up. Emma apologizing nonstop, begging me to talk. Lily telling me I'm overreacting and being dramatic. Dan completely unaware, texting the group chat asking if we want to come over for a BBQ next weekend. Every time I see his name pop up, I feel sick. I don't want to be part of this secret. I don't want to marry someone who thinks lying to protect infidelity is just what family does. But I also don't want to destroy Emma. She's not the one cheating, but she is the one enabling. And that might be just as damaging. 2 days later, I went home to talk. I didn't want this to drag on. Emma looked wrecked. Red eyes, messy hair, barely slept. She said she understood if I broke things off, but begged me not to judge her entirely on this one mistake. But then she said something that changed the entire tone of the conversation. "If you tell Dan, I'll never forgive you." That sentence confirmed it. She's still protecting Lily. Even now. Even with everything at risk. I told her I wouldn't lie anymore. If Dan asks me directly, I will not cover for them. She said that makes me untrustworthy. I walked out again. This time not crying, just numb. Last night, Dan called me. My heart nearly stopped. He asked if I'd seen Lily because she told him she was helping Emma with wedding stuff, but Emma told him she hadn't seen her since last week. He asked if everything was okay. My stomach twisted into knots. But I told the truth. Not everything. just that Lily wasn't with Emma and he should talk to her directly. He immediately went silent, said thank you in the saddest voice I've ever heard. 2 hours later, Lily blew up my phone, furious, cursing, accusing me of destroying her marriage. Emma texted me, "I can't believe you did this to us." Us, as if I was the one tearing the family apart. I met Emma this morning to talk about the wedding, and I realized something. I don't want to marry someone who expects blind loyalty, even when she's wrong. I don't want to marry someone who would compromise her integrity for convenience. I don't want to marry someone who chooses enabling over honesty. So I told her, I love you, but if this is how you handle conflict and morality, we're not compatible. She broke down, said I was choosing outside people over her. But the truth is, I'm choosing the kind of life I want. One where I'm not dragged into lies because someone else doesn't want to face consequences. I called off the wedding. I gave her the ring back, packed the last of my things, and walked out. I'm heartbroken, but I feel strangely calm. Sometimes, the way someone reacts under pressure tells you everything you need to know. And now I know. 4 months later, I didn't realize how heavy everything had become until it was finally off my shoulders. I moved into a smaller apartment across town. It's nothing fancy. Bare walls, mismatched furniture, quiet at night, but it feels peaceful. I didn't know how much noise I had been living with until it was gone. Emma moved back into her old place after the wedding was canceled. We haven't spoken since the week after the breakup. She sent me a long apology text I never responded to. Not because I hated her, but because I was exhausted. Every time I saw her name, it felt like reopening a wound that was finally scabbing over. But life moves on, and so do people. And apparently, some people move straight into a storm. Dan's POV. Dan reached out to a mutual friend of ours, not to me. That friend later told me what happened the night I told him Lily wasn't with Emma. Dan confronted Lily immediately. He asked her to sit down, asked her again, calmly, where she really was. She responded with a dramatic meltdown, crying, swearing, insisting I must have been confused, that Emma must have mixed things up. Dan didn't buy it. He'd already gone through her phone. He'd already seen the messages. He already knew the guy's name. He just wanted to hear the truth from his wife. When she couldn't give it, something in him snapped. Not loudly, not violently, just quietly, like a door closing. He packed a bag, dropped his wedding ring on the counter, told her he'd talk when she was honest, then left. 2 days later, he filed for separation. Apparently, Lily tried to blame me, but Dan wasn't hearing it. His exact words, according to our mutual friend, "If your marriage can be destroyed by someone else telling the truth, it wasn't a marriage anymore." I respected him more in that moment than I ever had before. Where they ended up. Lily spiraled hard after Dan left. The affair partner ghosted her the moment things got serious. Poof, gone. Blocked her on everything. Turns out he wasn't looking for commitment, just excitement. Lily tried everything to get Dan back. Letters, crying in his driveway, love bombing, threatening to expose his flaws, of which there were none. Nothing worked. She's now back living with their mom, working a part-time job, and posting vague, growth mindset quotes on Instagram. She still blames me. But she blames everyone when her life collapses. Except herself. Emma. This part hurts. Emma took everything harder than anyone expected. Maybe even harder than Lily did. Losing me and losing her relationship with Dan shattered the identity she'd built around being the responsible twin. For the first time, she had to deal with the consequences of enabling someone she loved. Mutual friends say she went into therapy after the breakup. One friend told me, "She said losing you was the wake-up call she needed." I don't know how true that is, but part of me hopes it is. Not because I want her back, but because I cared for her once, and I hate the idea of her drowning in guilt forever. She hasn't dated anyone new. She's been keeping to herself, working more shifts, spending more time alone. She tried to message me again last month. I didn't open it. Some doors stay closed for a reason. What I never expected. 2 weeks ago, I ran into Dan at a hardware store of all places. We did that awkward, "Oh hey," wow, a high man-nod thing before actually talking. He looked good, healthy, rested, stronger than before. And then he told me something that genuinely shocked me. He had started talking to someone new, someone kind, someone stable, someone who didn't play emotional gymnastics. And the wild part? She used to work with Lily. Lily hated her, said she was boring and too put together. Guess Lily was right about one thing. The woman really was put together. Dan said, "Funny how the person she told me not to worry about ended up being the one who treated me right." We both laughed. A weird, healing kind of laugh. Before we parted ways, he looked at me and said, "You did the right thing. I'm sorry you got dragged into our mess, but I'm glad you told me the truth. It saved me." For the first time since the chaos began, I felt proud. Not guilty, not conflicted. Just proud that I chose integrity when the people around me didn't. Closure breaking off a wedding is something I never imagined I'd do. But marrying the wrong person? That would have been far worse. Now, I wake up alone, but peaceful. I cook for one, but without tension. I go to sleep without wondering if I'm being lied to, even for a good reason. Sometimes solitude feels better than shared chaos. And as for Emma, I genuinely hope she finds her way. She wasn't evil, just loyal to the wrong person, in the wrong way, at the worst possible time. As for Lily, well, karma already took care of her. And as for me, I'm doing all right. I'm learning who I am outside of someone else's disaster. And for the first time in a long time, I feel free.